you didn't get to do in season 1?
Yeah, so in watching season 1 and playing her, I was really interested in looking at that time or moment or moments that happened to Jessica. What happened that made her lose all of her color in her life? What made her how she is now, so hard, so gray, so dark? And luckily, that was exactly what Mel was doing in season 2, kind of going back, doing a bit of an origin story of even our leather jacket, like done in the most Jessica Jones way. We really went back and saw why Jessica is like she is, and that was really exciting for me to play and build on what we did in season 1, explore more of her. Season 1 was so in her head, and I feel like season 2 is really in her heart and in her past and in the trauma that she carries around. It was a really amazing experience for me.
And Rachel, what about for you? Trish is definitely in a different place come season 2. She says politely.
Yeah, it's really fun reflecting on season 1 and season 2, because in lots of ways season 2 she goes quite crazy. She goes quite crazy.
Craig,
the
right term.
And looking back to season 1, I remember Jeff, I think, said that, Trish is like the perfect best friend. She really, really is. But I also think what Melissa has done really masterfully with the Trish character in season 2 is you go back to season 1 and you can see the shades of that kind of unholy appetite to be more than what she is, and her deep desire to kind of matter and be more powerful than what she is, and shades of jealousy with Jessica. And I just always love teasing out like the different versions of female friendship that we get to put on the screen. I love working with Krysten, and I love that we get to play in a female friendship that is messy, and they're not always the perfect best friends. Like, they're mad at each other, and there's shades of jealousy and disloyalty. And I think seeing all of that kind of percolate to the surface in season 2 is super rad and fun for me to play as an actor.
And Ika, what about for you? Malcolm's in a different place this season 2. He's finally standing up to Jessica.
Yeah, season 2 for me was the most I probably ever enjoyed going to work. It was just so much fun to see him develop into his own right as an individual and to test his relationship with Jessica. I feel like the entirety of the second season was, the core of it was about family. And I think what Malcolm represents to Jessica is very much the personification of her no longer little brother, and to see that relationship tested in a very familial way, where you have you have the bickering, you have the individualization process, you have also that deep core of love, and to see that kind of stretched and moved was just an absolute joy to play with, and also just to get to see a little bit of where Malcolm has come from, but also I think for him, more importantly, it's kind of where he's going. And to see that develop was so rewarding and fulfilling to play. And then, I'm just amongst such incredibly talented individuals that it's also just like a masterclass all damn day.
Manuel, the show has such a distinctive look and feel. How did you come up with the style for the show, and what did you want to convey with the way it was shot?
S.J. Clarkson and I, at the beginning of season 1, we came up with this look, and it was a very good collaboration. In the process of prepping the episodes, we realized that we were referencing the same kind of films and the same kind of style. So it was really easy to get into each other's head and really, come up with a cohesive look that suited us both, but also the show. We wanted, to portray, to show Jessica more, hidden away behind foreground elements, or play with reflections, and create layers, visual layers that that you would have them to peel away to really get to the core of this character. And I was really fortunate, or we were fortunate, that we were let to do this thing, and we were awarded a lot of creative freedom in that, and that's the reason why I really want to come back for season 2 as well, because I could, pick up from where I had left off.
This seems like a good time to bring up that this season was directed by all women. How did that decision come up, and how did Amen. And how did that, if only there were more of them, if only more shows did it, how did that decision affect the way the story was told?
Well, it came up as, Jeff and I were talking and with Netflix as well about, this season 2 really wanting to be at least 50-50, men and women, people of color really wanting to fill those slots. But as we began searching for those female directors, we realized there's just a deep bench of so many talented, seasoned pros that we just kind of kept going. In terms of how it affected what was on the screen, a great director is a great director. And so it's not as much, what was on the screen, it's more about the environment on the set. And so there was a really, it was normalized. It felt very normalized. I mean, if you walked off our set onto another set, you might go, oh, wow, I'm the only woman here. But it was very much it was a great balance on the set. And I mean, the actors can speak to this, but I think it's created a level of safety. You're not the only one of your kind there.
I mean, for us, it wasn't a question of whether or not they were all going to be women. It was much more of a question of we just want to make sure that there's talented storytellers that are there. And we really look forward to the day when this isn't a topic of conversation, that it isn't about whether or not it's a man or a woman or an alien. It's that whoever is there is telling the best story that they can tell. And I think that's where we got lucky. It's funny because when we did start having the conversation, it really wasn't about, okay, well, let's hit this magical goal of trying to find 13 women who are appropriate for the job. It really was, let's try to find 13 storytellers. Oh, these happen to be women. That's a good reason for us to do this. And I think, hopefully, in the industry at large, that is a way that people are approaching storytelling, that it isn't about whether or not you have a diverse person behind the camera or whether or not you are gender or anything. It's that it's always going to be, as it is when you're looking at casting, hopefully, who's the best person to tell that story? And with any kind of luck, the doors are being opened for more and more people to have the options for those things.
But I think also because most, as you said, a lot of the story was about sisters, mothers and daughters. That's a female story, and so being told directed by female directors were people who had could reference that directly in the way that I don't understand why somebody would go and see a male gynecologist. Why would you bother? So it was sort of the same. You have the same kind of feeling from a female director. It was helpful.
Exactly, you've got the owner's manual. I'd like to hear from the other actors. Krysten, how did it feel for you to work with female directors this season?
Sure. I loved it. I think that it, in addition to everything that these guys have said, it also created a shorthand and a comfortability with your directors. We deal with sensitive subjects on our show, and when you can just get really quick and to the point with another woman, okay, you want to see this much of my butt? Okay, fine. Having that conversation with a man may take 35 minutes, But there was it was a real sisterhood and celebration, and it was exciting seeing all of these badass women behind Video Village. No one's glammed up, everyone's leaning in, everyone's contributing. I think it made our set really warm, welcoming, exciting, and I'm really proud that we did it.
And Rachel, especially for you, you had your own Me Too storyline this season, so how did that impact you?
Well, it's funny, we shot this a year before Me Too, was even a thing. But, I'm proud to be on a show that puts real social issues that affect women kind of front and center, and our show has kind of always had that in its DNA. And I also love that, the way Melissa writes is never kind of putting the issue before the story. The story is the vehicle and the character's experience is the most important thing, and yet because they're written with so many different shades and they're written so truthfully, these women encounter the same things that we all encounter out in the world, and I think that's kind of quite masterful. But it wasn't forced because Trish is a child star and she's been in Hollywood her whole life, so it seems like a natural fit, I guess.
Jeff, you have a few Marvel TV shows on the air at last count. How does this how does this fit into your overall universe? Where does Jessica Jones sit in all of that?
Well, look, we try our best to make sure that each show has its own voice, has its own flavor, and if you're a comic book fan, you already know that. In other words, anytime you go to the comic book store on Wednesday to get the new comics, there's always going to be, oh, Ms. Marvel is different from Jessica Jones, which is different from the Avengers, which is different from. And so it wasn't a surprise, and the original source material that was written by Brian Michael Bendis and drawn by Michael Gaydos, really has a very distinct voice just to start with. But what this show has always done, and I give credit to Melissa and the writing staff, which is extraordinary, is that they really embraced what we think we do really well at Marvel, which is to take things that are happening in the real world, put them through a prism that is the Marvel DNA, and out comes a story that has action and adventure and fun and violence and people that are broken and people that are heroes, and it somehow comes out as Jessica Jones. And so the part that's really most important to us is that it just feels truthful. And I think that's one of the things that's extraordinary about this cast, is that how hard they work to make sure that, yes, Jessica can break a door down with her hand, and that is the superpowered part of the show. But unless you care about the relationship between her and Trish, or the relationship between her and her mom, or her and Ika, like, if those things don't work, it doesn't matter whether or not we have all the special effects in the world. And I think that always begins in the script. And they have managed to continually tell stories about people and how they interact with each other. And one of the things that we are most proud of is what Rachel was talking about, which is this relationship between these two women that's affected by, and this is going to sound odd, but it's not affected by a man, which is what we see that story over and over and over again. Oh, you're dating him, I'm not interested in being your friend anymore. Oh, he said this, or I'm in love with your partner, or any of those things. It really truly is about two sisters who have been trying to deal with almost the same problem from the very beginning, which is who's going to save who. And that's something that I think we all, I mean, if you have any kind of relationship as a sibling, that you'll find that someone plays the role. Someone plays the role of the rescuer, someone plays the role of the person who needs rescued. And what's lovely about the dynamic between these two characters is it continually changes. And what one believes and the other doesn't believe, you always get to play that around. And then you add someone like Iko or Janet to the scene, and suddenly it all turns around again. And that's good television at the end of the day. That's good storytelling. So we just luck out because she happens to be a superhero.
Melissa, when we were backstage, I don't want to betray any confidences, but you asked Malcolm a question. You asked Ika a question about Malcolm. Is that a conversation that you always have with your stars? Like, do you want to collaborate with them on where they see the characters going?
Absolutely. Yeah, we writers get started many months before the actors come into play, and we're giving them a little holiday because they're about to work incredibly hard. But as we start to get our story together, it's very important to engage with these guys. Know their characters so inside and out. So that process of once they've gotten the scripts and getting their feedback on it is essential. I mean, it's a pretty intense collaboration. We really are all part of the same story. So.